Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you found it helpful, give a thumbs up, pass it on if you believe someone else would benefit from it. I would appreciate that. Guys, if you've noticed in a coffee shop or any type of little bagel shops, say bookstores and different things like that, but in this case, coffee shops, have you noticed the influx or the very overt, pervasive, narcissistic stench or odor in these places? And it's the silent narcissist that I observe. And you'll take these individual narcissists, they come in and get coffee, and they act like they're the president of the company or the coffee shop. The entitlement is so vocal, although it's very silent, just in the way that people are moving today. And I don't want to just limit it to the coffee shop, but I was noticing this, and I go to a couple of coffee shops frequently because when I'm out on my hyper scooter, and right now the weather's getting colder, so I find myself popping into different coffee shops, you know, just to get toasty and warm up and get some liquids in my body, and before heading out on the trails more. So I just observed it more today than I ever have. And I just felt a need to just mention that these narcissists, they hang out in these places. These are melting pots of, it's a hotbed pretty much, because in these coffee shops, I can remember a time when I used to hang out in Barnes and Noble. That's another place. Because in these places where you see crowds of people, is very silent. But in the silence is where the narcissist is able to observe you, scan you undetected. Because in these capacities, it is almost expected for you to keep pretty much low-key, silent aura. And so this is advantageous to them. They can see everything that's going on around them. And God forbid someone comes in that's very active and vocal. That gives the narcissist more of an advantage because attention is on that person who is being very vocal. Thereby, if the narcissist is observing the person who is very, say, outspoken or very verbal, it is somewhat normal. But you awaken empaths, you know, in the way that narcissists are observing, say, empaths and their next victims. Because when you look at them, they have this expression on their face. A fake ass poker face, but it is like they ate something bad and it upset their stomach. And what that thing is that looks like they ate is they cannot stomach the very thing that they are attracted to. They are attracted to your energy, but at the same time, they're so conflicted till they cannot stand you, but they want to get close to you. Just wanted to emphasize that and interject that before I begin the topic. Nothing irritates the narcissist more than this. You walking into a place, you are the vibe. You are the vibe all by yourself, whether you speak or whether you are silent. You, the empath, you are the vibe. And so when you enter that place, nothing agitates and irritates the narcissist more than this. When you ignore whatever intention grabbing tactics that they are taking. Because if you've ever noticed, if you walk into an establishment, the narcissist who is leading the minions, they will turn up the volume of their conversation as soon as you walk in that space. As before, you never really paid attention to it, but awakened and being very in tune with self, when you walk into these places, you readily detect, wow, this person went from volume 3 to volume 9. So what they're doing is trying to get your attention, and they're trying to draw you into that orchestrated conversation. And if you continue to keep a stoic stance and you stare off into whatever, stay focused, stay poised, ignore the hell out of them, because they will go over and beyond to try to draw your attention. And if you make eyes with them, that is when they know game on. They think. And because if you make eyes with them and they think that they got another audience member and you look away, even in their heads, at that point, they know that you are in tune with their conversation, whether you give a damn or not. They got your attention. And this is very petty, seemingly, but this is what they crave. And if you look at them for that quick second and you turn away with disdain, that's energy for them. So the best thing for you to do when you notice that these things are happening, don't fall susceptible for the curiosity of what they may or may not be talking about. Because if you surmise that this is a succubus type individual, won't nothing to do with that. Because when you walked in the room, you were the vibe. And what they're trying to do is throw you off of your focus, throw you off of your course, throw you off of your zen. And this is the unspoken stench of the narcissist. Even awaken when I go in places of business, I notice this more than I want to notice it. And I've gotten better at just maintaining my focus, maintaining my direction and whatnot. Although these things are very apparent, I don't give way to the narcissist that I give a damn. And because of this is what hurts them. When you just tune them out, ignore them, and dismiss any and everything that is going on in their circle. You just act like they're not even in the room, although they are in the room. Because I've told you, when they're talking, they cannot keep their concentration on the audience that they have. Because when you walked in the room, you were their biggest fan. Or so they thought, or so they wanted you to be. As if you don't need to be their fan as much as they need you to be their fan. You understand what I said? You don't need to be their fan. You don't need to cheer for them as much as they need you to cheer for them. This is the sick, twisted inadequacy that they have from a long, long time ago, going way back. This is the insecurity that they have. This is the inferiority complex that they have. And so when you can ignore them and pay them no mind, they have no choice but to deal with themselves. This is what you're doing. You're forcing them to deal with themselves because they want that whole room's attention, not just 9 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 10. They need that whole room paying them attention. And in 2025, you don't have to look far. People are starving for attention. Even people who may not be narcissists. Their narcissism is at an all-time high because, again, the narcissist is training us in this society to believe that certain things are the norm. You as an empath, you do very well in isolation. You do very well in your own space. You can do okay around crowds, but having it your way, you would be rather alone and just doing you. And this is when you're vibrating very high because you're a thinker, you're a tinkerer, you are a creator, you're an inspirer. You inspire things that you do without having any audience. You are inspired because the creator put something in you, put a zestfulness of life in you, so you don't need an audience and you don't need attention. Although the humanism in us gives us impression that we need to have certain people around us because we have formed our life after these patterns. And once you disconnect from those patterns of thinking and acting and behaving, you're going to feel these weights come off. You're going to feel a breath of fresh air. You're going to feel something that's very foreign, but it's going to feel good. And that is the fact that you're walking into newness of self. The authentic self that was covered all these years and decades. Better late than never, right? Bear these things in mind, guys, when you go in places of business, in these places such as I said, coffee shops. Let me know in the comments that are you feeling and observing and sensing this stench of overt narcissistic personality disorder? Are you sensing that it's a hotbed of pure narcissist? Even in their silence, you scan the room, they want to appear important doing nothing. And it's crazy, but it's a reality. Let me know in the comments. That being said, bless.